Good morning and welcome back to my mini homestead. So today is June 25 and as you see behind me, it is a beautiful, gorgeous day. We're finally getting sunshine and heat after having unbelievable rain and clouds this spring. So really happy about that. So I thought it's time to take you on a garden tour, and it's been a while since I've done one. I've actually videotaped to do some and then just never got around to getting it edited because I've been so busy. So let's show you why we've been so busy and what we've achieved and gotten done. So today we're going to start in the upper garden. So let's cue the intro. So last year, this was the pumpkin patch, and we decided we really don't eat a lot of pumpkin, and if we do, we can get a can because it takes up a lot of room. So we turned this into our blueberry patch. So I've got barrels up here that I've cut in half, and I will have a video on how I did all of that. But we just got these transplanted out on Friday, and I think we were like 28 degrees Celsius. It was warm out here. And what we did is drove the pickup up on our neighbor's land. We got a fence here. Let me show you the fence. So there's the fence. We just backed the pickup up. We had 1.5 yards of compost. Mom put it in buckets and put it on top of the fence, and then I took it and filled up the beds. And this was our finished project. Now it's a lot flatter up here. I mean, it's not really flat, it's still slanted, but not near as slanted as it was just because of all the dirt I dug out. Let me show you what the plans are. Nuggets investigating. So the plan is for all of this dirt is here. These rocks, because we were putting rocks underneath the barrels just so we'd have good drainage under the barrel. We'll haul those rocks down farther and I'll show you what we're going to do with them. And we're just going to do cinder blocks here to give us a bit of a retaining wall. So we've got a whole bunch of junk up here because I have peat moss and all that kind of stuff that I was using in blueberries and pots. So this is our asparagus bed. Only half of them came up. So next spring, plan on getting more. I'm going to put stakes in where we do have asparagus so I know where not to dig. We're going to dig down, put in new asparagus come spring. I think I'm going to go for some of the hybrid ones that are, male plants because it's supposed to give you more asparagus. And we need to get some compost up here as well. So down here we got this bed with compost. I just got to get in there and try to break up the soil underneath it somewhat. This is going to be our corn patch, and the soil here is hard, very clay, a lot of clay. Now on this side, Mom just harvested rhubarb, and we have some great rhubarb. She's making some jam today. We got to go get some strawberries, heavenly rhubarb jam. So that's that part of the upper garden. Let's move on down to the pool side. Forgot, we brought a bunch of cedar up here to make beds, and we decided we're going to put in a raspberry patch right there. I've got 2 raspberries for it. So we got to haul the lumber all out again. Here's the flower bed that we have at the south end of our pool. And we got the smaller dahlias in here. We got portulaca, I'm getting my shadows in here, that are coming along really good. And then we've got some zinnias that are just starting to bloom. And then in the back, I've got glads that I planted and started. And these are our hascap bushes. And they were loaded with berries, but we have a thief around here in our garden. Oh, I just found a few. Because I was hoping they would get sweeter because we just haven't had the sun. Let me see. It's pretty tart still. So, yeah, we just didn't have sun. But a friend of mine was over, and you can see that little rock wall that we put in back here just using the rocks. And I think probably this fall or next spring, I'll probably actually cement it up and just build a much better retaining wall. But we still need to get this bed in over here. And so then the wall would come all along here. So got to get that done. Now, garden beds. So in here, I have my pixie cabbage. Got everything covered up to keep the cabbage butterflies out of here. And then I've got some space that I need to plant something in still. Got some broccoli. And then our beets. Something got in and ate our beet leaves. I'm not sure what. So I cut a whole bunch of them off. And they're starting to grow back. But something got into our turnips and had a good lunch on that. But here, let me just show you the kohlrabi. So that's how our kohlrabi's looking. Gonna harvest some of that today and have that, a feed of that. And then down here, let's lift it up. This is our cauliflower. So I've got 9 plants in here. We'll see how that turns out this year, first year. Again, another experiment. And then down here are the carrots. I'm really happy with the carrots. We've been eating them now, oh, I guess for a couple of weeks. But what I did do, let's just do some thinning. Let's see if I get this. I have some round ones. So there's our round ones, and they're really tasty, really sweet. And then what we've been doing is pulling out thinning as we thin. I tried to make sure I had a lot of space when we were planting. Oops, shadows. And you can see I've got those thinned out fairly good. So we've been eating the little carrots out of there, and they're so good. So good. All right, let's go up top on the next bed here. So the herb garden is coming along, and this is just for this year. I know I'm going to have to move most of the plants because this just won't be big enough for all of them. But for this year, it's getting us through, and I'm glad with how the plants are growing. I need to cut back the chives and let them go at it again. So let's just get up here and take a look at what we've got. So up here are strawberries, and we've got a mesh over them, and we have been eating a few. Oops, let's get out of this. So there's our strawberries. So these are our seascape strawberries, and so doing a bit of an experiment based on what I've seen other people do. Was watching Kevin on Epic Gardening, and he prunes his. So these ones already had they all had a bunch of flowers and strawberries on them. So we left these ones as is. Now this bed down here, I went in and I pruned. Oops, looks like we got another flower. Get in there and take that out. We do have one strawberry. I took all the flowers off, all the strawberries off, and the plants have definitely grown. And so really happy with that. Now down here, how was it? Thursday I planted those. Those are Roma tomatoes. They're looking a little worse for wear because they were in pots for so long. Everything takes time. And then unfortunately, this space back here, which will be our future chicken pen, Mom had taken all the trees out. All the trees were gone, and they've grown back. So this is one of our summer projects, to get up here, get the roots out. They're just under the surface, and they are like feet long. So we'll get up here and see what we can do. Let's go down to the lower garden. And there it is, our lower garden. I'm so excited about this. It is looking so great. We've got a shade cloth on our greenhouse to keep it cooler in there. Mom moved all the vines from our rock garden over into here. I helped her with a bit of that, but she did the majority of that job. Okay, plans for today is to clean out this pathway along here. We're going to put gravel down. We're going to put weed suppressant cloth down, then put gravel down. So I want to clean it out, stain it, so the cedar will last longer and it'll look good. So we'll see, because that's one of the jobs for today. And then this dirt patch, we are going to plant grass in it. It's just too hot now for that. And then what we're going to do, the plan is the cedar that's up in the upper garden, we're going to build some more beds here. It's a space in our yard that we just don't use, so why grow weeds? Because that's what seems to be growing. Lots of violets and wild geraniums. Can't stand them. We hate them, hate them, hate them. Okay, so here's the rock garden, and this is where all the violets were. This whole thing has been planted with portulaca, and so I figured another month the whole hillside will just be covered. But we got beautiful flowers in here. If we can just keep Missy, hey Missy, if we can keep you out of it. So really pretty flowers. And then over here is where I've got onions growing and 2 garlic. I only had 1 head of garlic. Missy, no. And so we have 2. And then let me show you our raspberries. So first off, Mom and I put T-posts in and strung wire around. And that's to keep the raspberries upwards and out of the path. I had bought raspberries for here last year. I had 5 plants and the heat just decimated them. I mean, what was it? 45, 46 Celsius. We're not used to that around here. But I didn't expect any berries, but look at this. We have our first raspberries on these plants. So really happy about that. So here was where our blueberries were hanging out in pots till we moved them up. And here's our raspberries, looking really good. Now most of these are the ones that survived last year, except for these tall, skinny ones. We got those from our neighbor, and there's quite a few raspberries coming on there. So we went out in the back, on the outside of his fence, and dug all those up. But these ones are coming really, I mean, we're gonna have lots next year, but still, there's lots of raspberries coming, considering we almost lost the whole works of it last year. And then in the center here are my potatoes that I am growing in pots, and they're doing really well. I just picked the flowers off, I guess, last week. So they put all the energy into the potatoes and not into the flowers. Then down here I have my corn. That's going to go up in that bed up there. So hopefully Monday, Tuesday. And then again, we got lots of raspberries coming. And this is our 3rd row of raspberries. Now this one, not as many survived as last year. So they got the skinnier ones down towards the end. So let's take a look at this bed. I've got some beans growing in a tray here because I have to have a spot to plant them. And I've got some zucchinis growing in pots. Have to have space to plant them. And then we've got my Roma tomatoes growing here. Now these just got planted out 2.5 weeks ago, so they look better than the ones up on the hillside. I'm hoping the hillside ones will start to look like this. But I mean, I still should have had these ones planted out long before that. But let me see. I know, yep, there they are. Let's see. There's a tomato right there. So half the plants have tomatoes started, and we'll peek through, and over there you can see my cucumbers are coming. So, oh, there's another one on that one. So there's lots of cucumbers. They've had a rough start in life because we've had so much rain, but we've been eating cucumbers for 4 weeks now. And then here, I just pulled lettuce out of here Friday. Needed it for haystacks for potluck yesterday at church. So the lettuce was basically propping these tomato plants up, and I need to get them up on their strings. So I've got lots of different ones in here coming. And what I did on this bed is I put in a 4x4, which probably is really a 3.5 footer. And I built a trellis. For the tomatoes to hang off of. So I got to get the other ones hung up. But then what I did is I put screws in all along it. I need to add more. And then I planted peas in between my tomato plants. So I had lettuce, tomatoes, peas, tomatoes, lettuce. Lettuce is gone. Peas are still here. And we are just starting to get some really nice pods here. So quite happy about that. They're looking strong and healthy. So like I said, I need to get more screws in here. So hopefully tomorrow. But again, the list is long. And then over here, oh, something's been going after my tomato plant. Tomato, I have a Black Beauty. And lots of other tomatoes in here. And then here is my cabbage bed. Let's pull the net back. They are looking amazing. Got some nice heads coming. I call this my sauerkraut bed because that's what's going to happen with this cabbage. Make sauerkraut for us, and then my dad's 2 brothers. My Aunt Jan gave me a crock pot that was my grandma's, so we'll use that this year also for making cabbage. I think I've got 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, there's about 20 heads in here. I've got them planted about 8 inches apart. They're doing really, really well. Because they're getting taller, I'm going to need to put a double of the mesh on here. That's just to keep the cabbage butterflies out. So far, it's doing a good job. All right, so let's go. So here's the other end of the bed. And so you can see there's more tomatoes there. You can see more down there. Then over here are my Manitoba tomatoes. And then I got nasturtium in here at the end of the bed and marigolds. And let's look at my cucumbers. So let's go down here where I can have a seat. So these guys got planted out here, 4 or 5 weeks ago, just after I knew we weren't going to get any frost. And the biggest reason why is I was hauling them out of the greenhouse for the daytime and then putting them in at night, and back and forth we went, and they just grew so fast. But they have loads of little cucumbers on them. These are Titus, and they are from Ukraine. They're a pickling cucumber. And, hold it, somebody who likes cucumbers. And they grow 80% female compared to 80% male. And so, like, let's just take a look in here. I mean, look at all of these female cucumbers that are coming. And like I said, we've been eating these now for about 4 weeks. They are so, so good. Now, if they get bigger, you need to peel them because the skins are really tough. But then they're a pickling cucumber, but man, are they good eating cucumbers. And then on the other side, here you can see, I've got an Italian zucchini. And I got my zucchinis planted fairly close on that side. I do plan on trellising them up. And again, I just ran out of bed space. Okay, let's go take a closer look at that. Oh, and I've got my artichokes. They need to go into the big pots. I have a mystery plant. I have no idea what it is growing in here, but we've got small fruit of some sort. Doesn't look like any of the zucchinis I planted. So here's the zucchini. So I've got my golden ones in here. These are my Italian. Oh, I didn't see that one. Hopefully the bees saw it. I've been hand pollinating these. And then down here, I have my gray zucchinis, and I hand pollinated those. So I would say just in a few more days, we'll be able to eat those. And then down here, in this bed, is my broccoli. And we've been eating for probably about the last 2 weeks. You can see that one there's been cut off. Got a little one growing. This one doesn't have a head on it yet. But I mean, I made a beautiful broccoli rice casserole the other day. So I got different types in here. So this is smaller. Those ones I've taken off. So I'm real happy with how this is doing. In this bed, I have my midget cantaloupe growing. And I'm excited because I'm starting to see little cantaloupes coming. And they're growing really good. And then just in front of them, I have a couple trays of corn. That'll go up top. My zinnias are coming along. And like I said, the mystery plant. I still have some pepper plants in pots. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. And then here I've got some zinnias in pots. Need to get them potted out. And then on this side, we have our green beans or runner beans are growing. They've come up really, really good. And over here I have a, what is it? It's a ground cherry, and I think it's molly, but you can see inside the little fruits in there. Growing in the husk, never grown this before, so again, another experiment. Over here, I have 4 watermelon, and then this way they can just grow and travel down it. And then this is what I'm going to be working on today. This is a big priority, getting my irrigation finished. I've got water into every bed. Just got to get it all hooked up. Then I've got my snow peas. Now the bottoms of them look brown and not so hot. And that's because they were in pots too long. I had to get the bed built, get the trellises up, and then get them in here. So we'll give them a few more weeks to see how they're doing. We've got some peas just starting. We got some flowers going. And then down here, I got these 2 little dahlia plants from a garden site I belong to on Facebook here in Summerland. And then my pepper plants. So they're coming, and we're starting to get little peppers. And so I'm just gonna let them do their thing. And then in these black pots down here are hollyhocks. And they were big and bushy last year, but we dug them out of the garden front flower bed because they get so big, and put them in pots back here. And so here's the other ones. And like I said, they were really big and bushy when I moved them, but we lost a lot of branches or leaves. And here is my Marzano bed. I'm just thrilled with this. They're coming out really good. And again, I had to get the bed built so I could get them into the bed. So they're coming along, and I've got, oops, the shadow might help. Nope, let's get my shadow out of there. And there's my first tomato I spotted. So in this bed, I've got basil growing between the plants. I got some marigolds. Let's go this way. And then I've got onions planted down the center. And they're growing really good. It's supposed to be good for pest control. Over here are our blackberries. We got a few blossoms coming, but it's going to be a few years before we get any kind of harvest off of these. Okay, let's go check out my potting shed. Most of the stuff has been hauled out of here. I know it doesn't look like it because I've got insulation and 2x4s and 1x4s. That rack was the only thing in here. My Uncle Larry was here a couple of weeks ago, and he's a contractor, so he wired it up for me. So I'll have plugs all the way around. I got 2 pot lights up in the ceiling. So this will be something I work on over the summer. And the 2x4s, why I have those is we're gonna frame out the door here. And I wanna find a 36-inch door and put it in. All right, let's check out the last few things I have outside. I've got 2 raspberry bushes here in pots. And those are the raspberries that are gonna go in the upper garden to be our raspberry patch there. I've got 4 tomato plants left over. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. And then over here in trays, I have Mexican red beans, which they're just so much better than kidney beans and black beans. So far I've got 1. So I'm gonna order some more seeds probably today, just to make sure I get them. So let's go in the greenhouse. So this year I was doing an experiment with tomato plants in the greenhouse and outside of the greenhouse. My tomatoes are growing so much better outside. And I don't know if we did have some hot days. I didn't have the shade cloth then. So it could have been that's the reason why weren't doing so good. But my Amish paste, they're just spindly looking. I had Amish paste last year and they were beautiful plants. My Kellogg's didn't do good. I mean, some of these you can tell the tops. I'm just gonna clip it. Oh wow, I have a tomato there. So this one has a sucker on it, and I'm gonna let the sucker grow. Oops, can't see it. There, this one has a sucker on it. The top died back. I'm gonna let the sucker grow, see if we get any growth, and go from there. Over here I have 2 golden zucchinis. So these ones, because they're in the greenhouse, I am hand pollinating. And then I've got 3 dinosaur kale plants. And then this cabbage, I had my cabbage growing in here with the spinach, and then when one of the beds was ready outside, I dug them all up and transplanted them out. But this was just a little tiny guy and I missed him. So we're just leaving him here. Now along here I have onions and tomato plants, and I'm happy with these tomato plants. They are looking really, really good. So I don't know. And then the ones down here, I did plant them in a bit later down here. So they're looking good. My dill is not. Then again, I bought this dill. It was a little root bound. Missy, out of the bed. Missy, out of the bed. She likes looking for vegetables. She's not allowed to be in the bed. Are you? You're not allowed to be in the bed. And then I've got 4 pepper plants here. Just seeing how they work in the greenhouse. What is it? Let's see. It feels warm. Well, it's actually more muggy than anything. Yeah, so it's just, what, 78 Celsius? Oh no, 78 Fahrenheit, but 25 Celsius in here. And it's just getting morning sun that's coming in. Now down here I'd had peas, and I just pulled those all out. We had a good harvest off of them. They were really good. Normally I would not have been able to grow peas in here. It would have been too hot. And then I've got my celery in the milk cartons. And then I have my 4 eggplants that are really starting to take off. So I'm really, really happy about that. I got flowers coming. I had lost a few of them, but they're all doing really good now. Over here are the leeks. Still not growing much, but they're there. I'm gonna yank the cucumber plants out. They're just not doing well at all. And then celery. So like I said, these tomato plants are doing good. I mean, look at this. This is what happened. So I don't know what happened. And my Amish paste have just never looked good. So I'm not sure if it was the seeds. I don't know. And then over here, I've got tomatoes coming. Got some little ones in there. And so we'll just keep watching. But I think I'm going to pull a few of the tomato plants out. Now these two down here were big suckers. And I think it's a week and a half ago. I clipped them off and stuck them in dirt and they're growing. So we'll see what happens. Let's get this tour finished. Here's our flower garden that we planted this spring. We lost 3 rose bushes. The deer did get to them as well. But everything's coming along really nice. I've got the rose petals obviously fell off that big, beautiful rose we had there. There's one of the dahlias I'd started. Oh, now that one back there is going to be teddy bear sunflower, so really excited about that. Glads are growing really good. So really happy with how this is looking, and it's only going to get better as we go. Here's our cherry tree. When it was in blossom, we got some real cold weather. Friends of ours lost their peaches to freeze. This was loaded with blossoms. We'll get some cherries off of it, but not like a killer amount. And then also our pear tree. Our pear tree was gorgeous. The blooms on this thing were unbelievable. But again, it's when it was cold and the bees weren't out. So we have a few pears that are coming. Not like we were hoping, but it is what it is. That's how it is when you're gardening. All right, let's finish this video off. So basically what you do, I've come to the conclusion, is you do the best that you can. You plant, you baby, you compost, you cover them up to keep them safe, and you hope and pray for the best. But it always doesn't work out the way that you hope it will work out. But we've been eating cucumbers for 4 weeks. We had beautiful lettuce. I just pulled the last of it out. We were eating lettuce probably for, oh man, it's probably close to 2 months now. We got tomatoes coming. We've been eating broccoli, radishes, carrots, peas. I mean, there's been a few other things that we've eaten as well, and can't remember what it is, but the garden just keeps coming. It's going to get better and better. So I'm really, really happy with it, and I just wish I had more time. Everything takes longer than you think it will. I mean, we pulled out all the beds we had last year, put in the brand new beds, which look great. Next year will be a lot easier because the beds will all be there. It'll just be a matter of starting my plants and getting them in the ground. I hope you enjoyed this video. I've got a couple more in the works. One is showing how I make those beds out back. I'm also going to do one on a thief in our garden, and also about the blueberry barrels, how I made those and what I did to give our blueberries the best chance they can, because we don't have soil for blueberries around here. So if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I need more subscribers. And it's my, what is it? We started working here 14 months ago. So before that, it was rose bushes and blue spruce trees and hillside with grass, and everything that you see we've done in 14 months. So really happy about that. You know, you always look at what you need to get done, but sometimes you need to take a look back and see what you have accomplished. And I'm really proud of everything that we've accomplished. We've worked hard, but I think we'll reap the rewards, and I think the garden looks pretty good. So again, have a good day, everybody, and see you on the next video. Bye-bye.